investing your time and your focus. You are, and I know that time is money, but there's another thing that I absolutely want to honor and respect today, and that is your personal investment in your personal development and self-optimization as a leader and a manager. For that, salute you, and I want to ask you to get your pen and paper ready, because the Synapses is not an ordinary webinar where you're going to get 7 or 10 points where you're going to go home and going, I don't know what to do with that. I'm going to be paying attention to coaching you step by step, and I would appreciate it if you would work together with me, and for your added optimum value for the presentation is if you just get an A4 page and open it up landscape and get ready. You're going to be taking notes. May I please encourage you that when you take notes, not to try and duplicate everything that's on the screen. I promise you, at the end of the presentation, you will be getting a copy of the 9 or the 8 flip chart slides that'll be coming your way, together with a professionally edited video of this presentation. So you're not just going to get a Zoom presentation, you're going to get a professionally edited presentation, together with an ebook on how to understand people based on neuroscience. Our topic for today is the neuroscience of managing your team, because inside our mind, inside our consciousness, inside our brain is this amazing dichotomy that's always working, whether we like it or not. And it's got nothing to do with personality. It's got nothing to do with ego. It's got nothing to do with the socio way that we have been raised by our caregivers, but it's got everything to do with the neuro patterns that are within our brain. And as I unpack that, you're going to get to understand that a little better. So there's going to be a few shifts that you need to make. So may I invite you, please, without sounding childish, but just to help introduce you to that when you're managing people, you're managing their energy, and there are 5 kinds of neuro energy which you'll hear about. And one of them is physical energy and focused attention. So may I ask you to just put your pen down for a moment, sit back in your chair, and I want you to put your hands on your shoulders, and we're going to breathe out and breathe in as we come down. And we're going to do 10 of those. So would you be willing? I'm sure you are, and let's just get some energy going here. So we're going to breathe out as we go up and breathe in as we go down, and just follow me. I'll be doing the 10. So let's go. And 1. Doing well. Nearly there. Well done. Roll your shoulders back and just relax your fingers, flap them around a little bit, flap the wrists, and we now have energy. And the other thing that we also have is our neurology is in the now moment. So we're not just in the present, we are in a specific moment in the present called the now. Are you ready? I'm excited. So let's look at how we lead and how we can lead better, knowing how to work with this away and toward reality that is within our brains. So my suggestion is that you use this A4 page as your general note-taking page, and while I'm talking you can just copy it down. So the bottom left is where I am right now. There's T for toleration, there's F for frustration, there's a timeline. There are my team members. Here's away from, so this area where I am now is away from. And in the top right hand corner is A is where I am now, B is always where I want to be, and that's always better, and that's called success. And I'm leading this team towards success and towards better. It is one of the important things to remember that my brain, which has 8 brain languages, there is this movement toward or away from. So it's actually a brain language that we are managing and we are working and we're paying attention to. And no matter what we do, no matter which project we present, no matter which meeting we bring our team members into, this line of away and toward is always switched on. And it is up to the people. And the sad thing about it is that because people are living unconsciously, so an unconscious mind looks like this. It looks like a bunch of zebra, a troop of zebra running, and a lioness. You're getting the picture of what a lioness looks at when she looks at a bunch of zebra. And it's the creator's way of creating an amazing sense of camouflage. But as the lioness looks at this, she steps back, and then the troop become this, or the herd become that, and then eventually she focuses to behind, and there she sees 2 or 3 lagging zebra, and then she can make up her mind. So the art of coaching is stepping back. Our minds subconsciously are always in this mode. We know, we're aware of, it's called our comfort zone. I'm paying attention to, it's your mind makeup right now. But the ability to step back is the ability of how we manage our team productively, proactively, and precisely when we're working with the art of neuro-coach management or neuro-coach leadership. So here we have a strategy. This is where you are now. I would like you to write down on your paper, what do you believe are the 3 things that you are tolerating right now? May you think about that. What are the 3 things that I'm tolerating? In other words, I'm making space for them. They are allowable, but it's like I haven't really given them permission, but I just know that they are there and they're in the background, and there's this little nibble that I'm sensing. So what are 3 things that I'm tolerating? The other thing over here is my frustrations in my now. And it could be 3 frustrations about your leadership style, could be 3 frustrations about you, it could be 3 frustrations about your team, it could be 3 frustrations about the culture of the company or the environment outside the company, whatever the biggest frustrations, or if you want to pick one of each, you're most welcome to do so. Looking at the timeline on the bottom, I'd like you to put, okay, so here we are in May, and we're going to move a few extra months. And my question is, at the end of that month, what is the total and the target that you want to achieve over here, that you want to be able to manage and move this team who are in a unconscious, subconscious reality, so they are facing, their brains are there all the time in every meeting. You can have the most sharp agenda that you wish, 7 points, and you can use your brilliance of presentation skills and the magnificence of PowerPoint presentation skills, but you don't bluff the brain. It still stays in an unconscious, subconscious state. We've got to interrupt that. Somehow we're going to interrupt that. So in today's session, you're going to learn the beauty and the vitality of neuro-coach leading and neuro-coach management of your team, of moving them towards this better goal of where you need to be. So keep this in mind, and I want you to make notes on this page. And as I said, please don't try and duplicate. I just want you to write your aha moments on this page. So this is your note page. The question that arises immediately is, who are we coaching? So in neuroscience, I'm trying to educate leaders and managers and encourage them and empower them to look at people differently. So we are not psycho-socio-ego only. We are not psycho-socio-ego only. So we've got sales models that are based on the socio-psycho models and ego models. We've got management models. We've got leadership models that are all based on trying to manage a personality, but the personality is the actor on the stage. It's not really the real person that comes to the fore. So here we are, we have a biological body that's extremely intelligent, and we've got this neurosystem that is within our brain, which is the DOS program. The brain is the hard drive, and our personality, our psycho-socio-ego, can be equated to the PowerPoint, the Excel, and the Word document that we put into or onto our hard drive. But it's the DOS program. And because we are an intelligent biology, we also are orientated, and we are very neurologically designed. And this is what makes us different from any animal on the planet. So our neurology says that we have intention in it. Our neurology says that we have intellect and intelligence, influence. Our neurology has imagination built into it. In the world of the animal kingdom, they only have survival skills. And our brain and our consciousness is very incisive. Our neurology is very interconnected, so we have a huge amount of interconnectivity with each other and with our biological reality. And we also are intuitive, and we also are very, very conscious. There are 4 levels of consciousness. The first level of consciousness is a very low level, immature level of consciousness where it's all about me. Everything is about me, 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 and life is about me, and they become a victim. The second level of consciousness is where the me opens up slightly, and I begin to realize it's not just about me, but there is something out there that is a little bit bigger than me. So the third level is when I really make connection with that, and I'm going, okay, so now it's about me and my purpose. It's about me and the great big world out there. It's about me and the great big world that is working together for my good. And then the fourth level of consciousness is where about 2% of people live, and that is where you have a level of consciousness where you're working together with the great meaning more than the now. So you are at a higher level of connection with the greater connectedness. So, but we are definitely a conscious being, and we've got 4 levels of consciousness. Knowing that, I'd like to present you with a further consideration in that here I am, a living, intelligent biology, and inside this biology we have been inbreathed. I'm a creationist, and I've got good reason to do that. I can send you my argument around that, but in our biology, you're working with 13 brain intelligences. You're not working with 4 personalities, you're working with 13 brain intelligences on which personality dances. You're working with 20 cognitive biases. A cognitive bias is a lazy way of thinking, and it can hold you back from learning, it can hold you back from becoming, it can hold you back from realizing your full potential, or to break out of the comfort of your comfort zone, even although your comfort zone is a massive success. Then we have 24 brain filters. They sound like big picture, process, detail, people, places, moving toward, moving away from. So the moving toward and a moving to away from is discovered within our filters, but also within our neurology. So all of this is within our neurology. Then we have 7 logical levels of the brain. We've got 8 brain languages, and the 8 brain languages are something that we as neuro coaches, coaches and neuro leader coaches understand how to use that, because the miscommunication that we often had has got very little to do with the miscommunication because of socio or because of psychological issues. We have miscommunication because of brain languages and these realities. We've got 7 thinking levels. The shallowest level is factual or cliche, and the highest level of thinking is innovative and integrative. Our body has 11 systems, so we've got a circulation system, we've got a lung system and a breathing system, we've got a skeletal system, we've got 2 nervous systems, etc. We've got a digestive system, and we've got a circulation system, as I said. So there's 11 of them, and that's our job to look after them. And the reality is that your people bring these into the boardroom. They bring these into your sales presentation meeting. They bring these into your work. But what we're managing, rather than personality, is we're managing the energies in our neurology. And there's a few kinds of energy. The first energy that you see here is magnetic energy that we find resonating around our heart. And magnetic energy has also got a huge role to play in the reality of connecting to gravity, and your magnetic energy right now is connecting with mine through consciousness or collective consciousness on this. So when we're working with the people that we are managing and coaching, the neuro approach to leadership and management is that we are fully aware that we're using an intelligent biology rather than personality, which is the pizzazz and the actor of people. The other thing that we're paying attention to is we're working with energies, and these energies are found within our neurology. They're already there. Magnetic energy is around the heart, and that magnetic energy creates collective consciousness, and we can measure that anything from 4 to 6. Harvard Medical School have measured the energy round about 5 to 7 kilometers away from a person, because of the red blood cells that contain a lot of the magnetic energy. Then we have electrical energy that is within our brain. That's when we read EEG and we can read your pulses. We have food state energy, and that's why you need to be aware of what your team are eating and when they are eating. So it's not companies are being stupid by telling people you mustn't have a tea break, you mustn't have a lunch break. You are messing with food state energy, and you get a lull in brainwave attention, you get a lull in retention. Then there is a thinking state of energy, and that's based on a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. We have neuro energy, which is found in our neurons. We have physical energy. That was the exercises that we did, and I want to encourage you to do that with your team when you sit around the table before and after a meeting, before and after any brainstorm that you want to have them. Get their energy going, and in actual fact, every 20 minutes you need to encourage your team to do a bit of an energetic thing. So sit back after 20 minutes, stretch your arms, get up, walk up, and even interrupt your meetings and your lectures every 20 minutes. Then we've got physical energy, and that's where you do exercises. And then we've got wellness energy, which is a collection, or known as one of the 8 brain languages, called our kinesthetic brain language. And the wellness has got to do with sleep, a collection of rest, connection of habits, collection of rituals, and the ability to eat well and to sustain our body and feed our body with wellness. The away toward thing is found in two beautiful parts of the brain, one on either side of the hemisphere. We've got an amygdala in both hemispheres. That's about the size of your little pinky. And then we've got the hippocampus, which is the size of your little pinky itself. So the amygdala is about the size of your pinky nail, and the hippocampus is about the size of your pinky. It's often called the seahorse. Now, the amygdala, the moment the amygdala picks up anything, and this is why the brain hates change, because it's only on a survival mode. So the brain, the amygdala switches on, and the moment it picks up, oh my goodness, there's change coming, or there's a possibility that I have to have loss, or there's a possibility I'm facing a challenge that's too big for me, or there's a possibility that there's fear involved. It switches on, it pumps in 4 huge amounts of very, very bad chemicals, one of which is cortisol, the other one is noradrenaline, and it goes into the system, nervous system, and into the blood system, and it begins to shut down. The amygdala has even got the power to shut down motor sensory stuff in the brain. So it can shut down breathing, heartbeat, and all that kind of stuff. So stress is not something that we can play around with, because the amygdala really has a very, very powerful impact. So the moment the brain picks up change, resistance, survival, and no matter how you pitch it as a manager, guys, come on, we can do it, we're going to change, this is going to be great, change is coming, we've got to get used to change, because the brain realizes change is only the beginning. The brain understands that the cycle of change says, I'm going to change, then I'm going to transform, then I'm going to have to transcend, and to do that I have to learn, unlearn, adjust, learn, unlearn, adjust, align. And the brain says, I'm too scared to do all of that work. I don't want all of that work. I want to just survive. And the way that it survives is I either flight, I fright, or I flee, and I fellowship, or I go into grouping, or I faint. The hippocampus is the little pinky which is on either side of the brain hemispheres, and this picks up and functions positively. So what we need to do in leading our team, this is the toward, this is what happens in away from. So the toward says the moment we coach, we must coach achievement, which is not just goal setting and setting smart goals. Setting smart goals are stupid unless you link them to the energy of the body. When you say, yes, we can do it, the brain listens to the words and says, no, I don't believe it. I don't hear the energy. I don't feel the energy. So therefore affirmations don't work. I've got to have words that are packed with meaning, and meaningful words change reality for me. So I've got to be connected. When the hippocampus switches on is when there are connected goals, when the person experiences focus, when the person's experiencing direction, purposeful, proactive direction, and when the leader is pushing meaning and is focusing on meaning in the team rather than just objectives. So to become a neuro coach, we pay attention to thoughts, feelings, emotions, and actions. But our thoughts are actually our words. And this is how personality is formed. Now, the away from is the amygdala throws out a whole lot of anchors. So they're blocking the flow of the boat, the movement of the boat. And we're dragging anchors all the time. And away from is where stuff, you find people they have to be bitten in the butt before they do things. And the signs and symptoms of an away from person is they tend to procrastinate, they are driven, they are not drawn, they micromanage, either are micromanaged by others, they tend to lie, they tend to be insincere, they tend to be hiding, so your away from people are the ones that hide. they have poor connection, they have a victim mentality, they're very, very powerfully perfection orientated, they are pleasers of people, they use toxic positivity like every cloud has a silver lining. Around here we don't use the word failure, and in my next synapses, which is on the 30th, I'm going to be talking and coaching on the subject of how toxic positivity can destroy your leadership, your management, your team, your culture, and your business profit. So get ready for the advert that's coming your way for that on the 30th. Amygdala type people tend to have a poor self-care. They tend to be comparing themselves all the time. They're past orientated, and they tend to act as if they are entitled. So the neuroscience switches on all of these defense mechanisms in an away from person. And it's very challenging to work with people. Here they've got to be driven. Here we're going to hand out counseling letters. Here we're going to give warning ones. Here we're going to give, because they have detached themselves. They have disconnected from their reality and from engagement with the company. A toward person is a person who is hippocampus orientated, and here are words that I want you to be paying attention to. How do we coach these people? So we're coaching people away from toward, and there's two things or two major factors which you have to grill and drive and really empathetically use all the time with purposeful interaction with your team, and that is awaken. Why is what I'm doing important? So if my business is not important to me, if my brain doesn't sense it, if my body doesn't feel it every single day as I work on my to be achieved list, not a to-do list, and you'll see how that works. When I pay attention to, but my business is important to me, and I link it to my values, and I link it to my belief system, and I link it to meaning, and I link it to my future, and I link it to my legacy, it becomes important to me, and then it becomes an attractor. In other words, it pulls, it draws like a magnet. People who don't have that alive have to be driven all the time, and driven creates a whole lot of stress. The other word that we've got to purposely bring into the coaching to pull people toward the future is the word meaning. What does it mean to me to be able to be successful? What does it mean to me to achieve my target? What does it mean to me to make the goals and achieve them? Toward people are different to away from people in that they enjoy approval. So you come across with approval, affirmation, you bring a lot of clarity and focus, they have a need for power or the need of being in charge, they have a deep sense of connection. They want to have frequency of meeting, frequency of measurement, frequency of evaluation, frequency of paying attention to. They need a lot of feedback. You need to give feedback all the time. Don't just go, no, we're doing well. Unpack well. We are 4% away, 5% away, 6% away. You use intensity. It's like I'm lecturing and sharing and coaching now. You can feel the energy and intensity with which I'm doing versus I'm talking to you about toward people. Toward people are people that are focused, they have clarity, and they need a lot of self-activated, purposeful, meaningful motivation. Can you hear the difference in the intensity of the passion? And they are engaged. So I'm working as a coach I coach these criteria in the name of what's important and in the name of what's meaning. And there's a very, very special way that we teach neuro coaches to be able to do that. So toward people is where I have to be able to get the body to taste and internalize. The reason why you woke up in the morning and decided you're going to drink some coffee or tea was not because of the fact that you could make it. But this rooibos tea that I'm drinking, that's mixed with ginger and apple cider vinegar and a cream of tartar to help for the neuron and for the immune system, the reason why my brain woke me up to taste this is for this factor. The brain doesn't want to have goal achievement. It doesn't want to say achieve a car, sell a car. It's the feeling that you get when you've sold it or bought it. It's the feeling, the kinesthetic feeling that your body gets when you achieve whatever you achieve. And that's the difference in a neurological SMART goal versus just an ordinary SMART goal, which is detached from neurology. So we have to internalize what's the taste of success. I've got to be, as a coach, sober and aware. I've got to turn possibilities, opportunities, and I've got to connect that in a process. And I'm moving people who are in away from, who are constantly busy with blame games, who are busy with excuses, are busy with catch up, and I'm moving them in a toward process, but I'm putting layers down such as rituals, habits, sense of ownership, sense of self-control, patient with them, and practicing mindfulness. So you cannot coach people neurologically without adding mindfulness into the process of managing and leading. So mindfulness is a very important criteria in neuroscience coaching. So here I am moving from away from, I'm in a culture and I'm moving them toward. As a neurocoach manager or a neurocoach leader, I'm not paying attention to what I want, I'm paying attention to what I need to avoid. So I'm focusing on, I want to avoid this away stuff, so I now focus on this is what I want. And I'm not going to buy in to people's thoughts, feelings, emotions, because that's what I've got to get them to manage themselves, to change their thinking. Because it's their thinking and their feeling that is creating actions of away from. And I want to help them to move towards. And the way I do that is to create a culture, which is what I call an alive strategy. So your strategy is not dead. You're working with aliveness of a human biology, and you're working with aliveness with your team. And so you bring quality decisions, you bring meaningful connection, you bring commonality of focus, you bring a huge amount of trust, you bring communication with clarity, you bring feedback, you bring emotional feedback, you bring incisive questions, daily toward movement of moving the team towards. So, and interestingly enough, with neuro coaching and neuro managing, you slow things down a little in doing that, and you become far more effective. So here's a very, very powerful tool that you can use to start off with. And of course you can make contact with me, and you can find out when our next group coaching process is taking place to train managers to become neuro managers, or leaders to become neuro leaders, and that'll move you into an exponential interconnection with your team. So I've changed the to-do list. We get rid of a to-do list and we call to achieve list, and that's divided up into 3 columns. So in my appointments, I've got who appointments and I've got what appointments. What appointments are projects, those are things that I need to do, catch up with admin, filing, etc., etc., etc. Developing projects, developing proposals, that's a what item that comes onto the manage diary. The second column is a question that I ask when I design it in the morning. So I don't carry over from my to-do list from yesterday, because if I do that, I'm carrying over yesterday's framework, yesterday's negativity, yesterday's emotions, yesterday's delays that I built into that. I meditate in the morning, I wake up in the morning, I wake my mind up in the morning with mindfulness, and I plan my day, and I take that same thing of yesterday and put it onto today's achievement list as if it's brand new. And I'm going to recreate you so that, and how do I do that? I ask myself the question, what's the result that I want with this person's meeting? Not more than 4. I want to achieve 1, 2, 3, 4. Write that down and be aware of it when I walk into that person's office or in the meeting with that person. The what project is a meeting that I have with people, and as a manager, please write down what are the results that you want to achieve of the meeting, besides the damn agenda. Agenda 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we must get this over and done with. Let's just dish the work out to everybody, oh my word, so that everybody can just be busy, busy, busy. Stop that thinking. Stop it. Take a deep breath. And as you breathe out, say it out loud. Stop it. Stop it. Don't want to do it that way. That's a silly way of leading and managing. Become neuro-orientated. And so both for who and what projects, I create the result. And the other thing that I add in a third column in the new diary that we're going to create with our teams is a mindset. What's my mindset? What was my mindset? So this morning, when I prepared, I woke up 6 o'clock this morning, I did my exercises, I went into a mindful state, I went into meditative state, I planned the day, and my first session is you. I said, so who am I meeting? Totally let me know X amount of people are linked in, and I know what the topic is. Well researched, well studied, well formulated. I saw you on the other end of the lens, and I said, what do I want to give you? So I'm going to give you energy. Can you feel it? I'm going to give you empowering information. Can you sense that? Did I give it to you? I'm going to give you practical tool. Here it is. I'm going to help you to consider the possibility of an option to go, for me to optimize my style of management and leadership, the missing gap. Could it be that if I train as a neuro coach or a neuro manager, that would shift me up a level? My answer to you, quite simple, based on everything that I've trained across the country and the world with managers, they have shifted everything in their company measurable by 17% above target after 6 months. So the answer is yes. We bring mindset into it because that brings consciousness into the process. The fact that I ask the question, what's the result, focuses me. The mindset connects me with the people that I'm working with, and I become effective and anti-fragile. I don't allow stuff to hassle anymore. I don't allow interruptions anymore. I don't allow things to impact negatively on me anymore, because I believe I am in control and I'm focusing and I'm paying attention to. So the appointments, you need to work this out with your team, and you spend 10 minutes a morning, everybody sharing out loud, these are my 4 appointments with the person, these are the results that I want. And if you do this for a period of 63 days, you've created ritual and a habit that the brain has incisively woven into the neurology, and it will not let go. So if you want to build a new habit, 63 days of continual focus. Take your time, take the first 10 minutes of every day with your team. So open your diaries, read out to the team, who's the people you're meeting with, what's the result, let's check if we all aligned with the result. Is that what we want? Is there anybody else who wants to hear something else from that person? What's your mindset? Are you ready for it? And when I come to this appointment, I breathe, I engage my mind. I breathe in for a count of 4. Hold it. Breathe out. Reread the mindset. Breathe in for 4. Hold it. Breathe out. close my eyes and let the mindset permeate my body. And I sense it in my body. And so that's why I'm so engaged with you, looking at you via the camera, because you're important to me. I want to interrupt your day with a beautiful example of mindfulness that's alive, of focus that's fully connected, and of neurology, understanding that that's what I'm speaking to right now. I've been paying attention to working with your hippocampus, that you can achieve the goal, that you can feel success. And the moment you feel success, your hippocampus pumps in amazing chemicals such as endorphins, serotonin, GABA, dopamine, amazing chemicals that are like the internal chemist of us. Endorphin contains a part of tetrahydrocannabinol, which is DAHA, just as an interesting thing. So it's the brain's way of creating your own feeling of euphoria, and it contains the bottom half of DAHA that it pumps into our body when we're achieving things. So working with my team along what does it mean? Because meaning this is what my day makes my day meaningful. And then why is my day important? These people here are important to me to achieve my goal. These projects are important to me. So therefore my brain helps me to go into effectiveness mode and goes anti-fragile. I'm not going to be bumped and dumped around. I'm going to be paying attention to this reality of my life. And so I'm going to pay attention in creating a new day every day with my achievement list, and I'm going to say at the end of the day, what have I learned when I look at this? Your meetings will be far clearer, far sharper. Your interactions with customers and with people will be far more meaningful and far more pleasurable for the customer and the team concerned. And you'll have clarity that creates great recreative power within your team. So consider the facts. How am I going to manage people on my way toward line? And the way toward line is I manage it by meaning, and in a culture of positivity, of hippocampus positivity, of intentionality, and I'm moving people towards the top right-hand corner. But I also ask my people to go, please remind yourself every single day, what's important to me about what I'm doing? What's important to me about who I am as a team member? What's important to me about how I relate to my team and within my business? And suddenly we're introducing two beautiful concepts of the neurology. One is awareness or consciousness, and the other one is deep inner connectedness, that when connected and woven together create an immense power called motivation. You don't need motivational speakers to come and motivate your team. Get rid of that thought. Get rid of them. Stay away from them, in fact. What you want is people that can help you to engage your neurology as a team, because the neurology is the intelligent part of who we are. It's the active part of who we are. It's the process part of who we are. The personality is the pizzazz and all the nice little Word documents that we can open in Excel and PowerPoint, that we can create all these amazing stuff. But you know what? That doesn't last. What lasts is connected neurology that makes sense with intentional intellectual capacity that our neurology has. So I do hope that I've presented a case for you to truly consider today, to ask yourself this question. What's my next step? Quite simple. bill.price@me.com, bill.price@me.com, and you're going to drop me a line and say, please, can we have a brilliant discussion, non-obligation, and just talk to me a little bit about how I can shift from my management and leadership style, which, you know, I'm in a comfort zone, Bill. I'm already in that comfort zone. I want to break out, and I want to manage and lead far more effectively, and I want to consider what is the art and the science of neuromanagement and neuro leadership. And here you have a way I've given you today of how you can lead from away from to toward with magnificence, and you've already got it within you. I do hope it's been helpful. I know that you've taken notes. We will be sending these notes to you uno momento, and we will also be sending you the professional recording that's coming your way, and we look forward to our continued connection with you. So thank you very much. Thank you, Tony.